What is up? What is going on? My name is Arvind Ram Krishna. Welcome to Driven to Draw, and today we're going to be talking about thumbnail sketching. So let's get started. All right, thumbnail sketching. Why would we even approach doing thumbnails? Well, sometimes when you're working on a larger piece, or if you're trying to draw something that's really large and you haven't really quite worked out everything, thumbnail sketching is really a great way to sort of get some quick sketches down on a tiny little sheet of paper, or they can be post-it notes, or you can just take what I'm doing here is I've just got a regular 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and I'm just sort of working out some compositions. So here I've got just a classic car. It's a GTO. And what I'm doing here is that you can just see how I'm just splitting out all my little panels and just exploring and trying different things. And they're kind of like comic book type exaggerated looking scenes, or I guess you could call them like storyboard type of art. And what I'm doing here is that even as I start to draw, what I've done with this GTO is to break things down into very basic shapes. So what you see here is I've started to, I'm going to zoom in here so you can see it a lot clearer. But what I've done here is that I start off with just drawing sort of like my box. You can see how my perspective lines, I've got my box, and I just start to outline where the headlights are going to go and then where my ellipses are going to go. You can see that I got my minor axis set in, and then I just start to add the front and the rear wheels here. Some people may wonder, am I using photo reference? Yeah, I'm using photo reference. In fact, I've actually got a little model. I collect a ton of 1/18 scale die-cast cars. I keep them around for like inspiration, and just as long as my kids aren't getting a hold of it and trying to smash them together and race against each other. But what I do is that I take pictures. I take pictures of the models, and I set them up in different angles, and I use that as my basis to start doing sketch work. One of the things people ask me, well, why do you have to always use pictures and references? Well, I like using references, and I think that when you are trying to replicate or draw something that's somewhat accurate, or draw something that's existing, something that is not of your own design, then it's okay. It's okay to have photo reference, because the idea with art and even with design is to draw something familiar, or to just understand the form language of something that you already see, and just try to interpret that. So even with thumbnail sketching, you can do that before you start to get into a larger drawing, because all you're trying to do is outline your view, establish what kind of view you're looking for, whether it's going to be a front 3/4 view, or if it's going to be a front view. Do you want to have people? Do you want to, and when you have the people, that adding a figure or something like that gives it a sense of scale. Those are all really important to kind of work out as you start to draw this stuff, or draw these details in. Okay, now I'm going to just add a little bit more shading. I'm actually just defining the perimeter of this box here. I got that little air intake here at the front. Now I'm just going to start doing some hatching, and there's really even a beauty to drawing this small. Having something this small, tiny, and then being able to hatch these areas out, and it just has another character altogether when you're using something like this, when you're drawing in this smaller scale. And it's really a lot easier to see all your darks and your lights, and just seeing what you want to draw attention to, and you're able to see this sort of graphically a lot easier than when you're drawing something that's very large. And of course, once you're all done, you could even come in and add a little bit of marker, or you can add some even watercolor or whatever it is and draw this small. It's really such an awesome way to plan out your drawing without having to spend a ton of time on it, and just get an idea of what you want to do before you actually commit to a larger scale. And it's great practice. Just coming in and just starting to draw in this size and get ideas down. It's a terrific way to practice. Now you can see everything's sort of kind of developing up nicely, and I'm just going to start hatching in the areas where you're going to have the reflection on the side of the car. And then I'm just going to start adding indicate some sort of a background, whether it's buildings or something like that. It's just to give it some visual interest. And I just come in with these parallel lines here at the back, and to separate to give it some background and a foreground here. And if you haven't noticed, I'm using just a Sharpie pen. Got the road. I kind of like how even just the rear of the vehicle, how I just sort of extend that past the perimeter of the page, or the perimeter of the outline here, the boxed area. Just adding just darker lines just to define the shape of the GTO a little bit more. Adding some finishing details. There's not much left to do. I'm just going to make that shadow at the bottom a little bit darker. There we go. Now this is pretty much it. You don't even have to get into a lot of detail here. It's pretty descriptive. It's got all the information that we need. It's a great small size, and hopefully this is something that you can go on and practice. And here's some of the other ones. We've got a side view. We got another 3/4 view. At the top, I've got one with a figure. Then I've got one that's just a front view coming at you. But I would say that this particular one is probably my favorite here out of all these. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you next time on Driven to Draw. Have a good one. So if you're enjoying all the content you're seeing so far and you want to learn more about creativity, being creative, then be sure to subscribe. Subscribe. Take it. Learn. Create. Click on it. Subscribe. Do it. Now. Click on it. Click. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe. I tried. Subscribe.